the far edges of the Motherworld's reach, circling the gas giant Mara, was the small moon of Veldt. There, a village of humble farmers lived a simple life, born of the earth, until the shadow of a warship fell upon their fields. The ship's commander, Admiral Noble, demanded more than Veldt's people could give. So it was that a woman named Kora and a man named Gunnar set forth from the village to gather warriors to stand against the dreadnought.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheapseat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good.
For the greater good.
There you go. This is episode...
Terrible Anthony Hopkins, but
no,
okay.
that's pretty good. That's pretty good. This is episode 400. Like, I knew what you were doing. Though, having just heard him, it was easy to... But, yeah, I knew what you're doing. This is episode 481, and today we're talking about Rebel Moon 2, The Scar Giver. I am Sean. That great general didn't foresee tanks. All red. And Andrew. Finally, that robot did something, Jemison.
Right? So, yeah, the tanks, I mean, they did just kind of appear out of nowhere.
Yeah, but it's like he was this great strategy, like they made a big deal like, oh my gosh, they have this guy who's awesome. His strategy was tower defense. Just let's dig some trenches. We'll plant some bombs.
Right.
We know that he's probably going to come and send some troops after the women and children, so we'll send our best ninja fight lady up there. But again, only one of the 7 to defend the women and children. Maybe have another person up there. I don't know.
Well, you got a kid.
You're right. There
Who's
was
good with a knife.
There was one stabby stab kid. You're not wrong, but I don't know. Yeah, no, it was just the tanks surprised him, and I just thought they shouldn't have surprised him. He should have been aware that they would send. I don't know. He was yelling like, "Oh yay, we won! Oh wait, there's more!" Like, okay, I feel like that you shouldn't have been that surprised, but
Right.
anyway, it's fine. So hey, Andrew, how you doing?
I'm okay.
Good. We again, no Andrew or no Sam for a while. I think I've mentioned that, and it's just gonna be the two of us for a little bit, and that's perfectly all right. But this is our last movie in our Star Wars adjacent series for the month of May. And since we did Rebel Moon 1, I felt it very appropriate that we would do Rebel Moon 2, not realizing there's going to be a third one. I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, this movie kind of sets it up for another one.
Yes, but I didn't know that going into it, is my point. Is like I didn't think to look to see if they were going to do a trilogy. I guess this is going to be his Star Wars, so of course there's got to be a trilogy, but anyway, at some point we'll do it in the whatever future that is. I don't know how far into the future it'll be, but this one has an IMDb ranking of like 5.2, and the other one's like 5.4. So I don't know if Netflix is going to give him the money to do another big budget movie or not, but maybe he has a contract. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. If he's going to save this franchise, he's going to have to do something drastic, I think.
Yeah, like make a good movie, I think is what he needs to do. Because I'm looking at his upcoming director stuff. He's doing something called Planet of the Dead, which is in development. He's doing The Fountainhead, which is in development, and Army of the Dead, Lost Vegas is in post-production, which is a TV series.
Did he do Army of the Dead, the movie we watched?
He did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he did. It's got a really interesting cast so far. Tig Notaro, who I love from Star Trek Discovery. Christian Slater, Joe Manganiello, however you pronounce his name. Let's see, Vanessa Hudgens, Christina Wren. So it's got a Dave Bautista. Well, he was in the movie, so I guess it makes sense that he's
Right.
in at least the first episode. So I guess this is like a prequel series. I would guess, right? Like this is the stuff that happens before the events of the
Army of the Dead
of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so 2024's Rebel Moon 2, The Scargiver. So tell us, the intro clip that I played, which was the the Rebel Moon version of the title scroll that they do in Star Wars, which was basically a little bit of a recap of the first movie, just in case you hadn't seen the first movie. But go ahead and tell us what this movie is.
Yeah. Kora and surviving warriors prepare to defend Veldt, their new home, alongside its people against the realm. The warriors face their pasts, revealing their motivations before the realm's forces arrive to crush the growing rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Which is interesting that they call it a rebellion because, this particular fight doesn't even feel like rebellion. It just, I guess it is because they are rebelling.
Right.
But it doesn't feel as big as when I think of rebellion and of course Star Wars, you think of a kind of large coalition of forces and troops and spies and stuff, and this is a handful of soldiers and some farmers.
Right.
But the movie does establish that there are other rebels out there that do have some forces and some ships and some stuff. We just haven't really
Although
seen.
not until the last minute.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm sorry for yawning so much. If you're watching this, I apologize. It's been a long weekend, but it was a good weekend. But anyway, let's do 5-word reviews. So what do you got for this, Andrew?
Well, I said way better than the first.
That's really interesting.
But still not that great is my other
Okay.
other 5-word review.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. No, I honestly feel like this one, at least there was action. The first one, I don't feel like very much happened. And it was kind of, and there was some action. But I don't know. I feel like had I seen this one with the first one, that would have been incredibly long to sit there and watch a movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I almost feel like if you cut out some of the exposition in the first movie and this one, and you just put them together and make a shorter movie, maybe it would be better. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like you said, we did get to see the robot actually do something, which I still feel like the robot is underused. Because if he is this great fighting machine, then we should see him fight. And I almost got angry at the fact that he didn't step up and save people sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I know his programming is to protect the princess and the royal family. But I don't know. Spoiler, we find out that at the end the princess is not dead. I don't know. There's something there that I'm like, it could have. There's something missing to me in this storyline with the robot that could have made that part of the story. What he did was so cool, though. It was a minute and a half of him just kicking ass.
Yeah. He like breaks a tank by himself and takes out about 20 or 30 guys. But you're not wrong. If he was there at the beginning, so many of them farmers would not have died.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I get I understand the cinematic need to have the odds stacked against you and then a savior at the last second, right? You know, the Han Solo comes flying in at the last second to shoot Darth Vader out of the way. Which, by the way, somebody did this. This is so funny. So in that scene in A New Hope, when Han Solo comes in and shoots the ship next to Vader, and Vader crashes into the ship, and then it shows Vader kind of flying out of control. So someone took that, you know, showing Vader spinning, and put it next to the footage of the movie. And if you count how long it takes for Han to say, "All right, kid, let's blow this thing and go home," and then Luke hits the button, fires. We shut the cut the Grand Moff Tarkin. You see all the little guys, engineers, boo, and stuff, and then ships flying away, and then the Death Star explodes, right? And then we have a couple of moments of great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million. Now whatever, right? And then it goes back to showing Vader regaining control of his ship and flying away. It's like 2 minutes of Vader spinning in space.
Well, I mean, maybe his ship lost power, or
it's just it's when you put them next to each other and watch it, it looks so ridiculous that like the greatest pilot in the galaxy would lose control of his ship for that amount of time. And I think it's probably easy to think that George Lucas is showing us that shot to obviously establish that Vader got away, so we're gonna set up some more movies. And it could have been that Vader did that instantly, but it's still funny when you put it in the timeline of the movie. Anyway, not the point. The point is that my 5-word review, seriously, again, ladies and gentlemen, as you guys know, we don't plan anything beforehand, like hardly ever. My 5-word review was kind of better than the first. So you went way better than the first, and I said kind of better than the first because it is more of an action movie, this one.
Yeah.
The last one is a lot of backstory. Now, this one certainly has a lot of backstory, too.
Right. Yeah, it has some of their individual stories in it.
Yeah. I mean, they're sitting around the table going, okay, here's my backstory. Now tell me your backstory. Tell me your tragic thing. Yeah. And then do that. And then my other one was a beautiful tower defense film. So, and that's what this movie basically is. It's just a tower defense film. Let's just hunker in. It's kind of like the last third of
The Last King.
No, what's that movie called? The Two Towers. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. It's a it's a tower defense film. For that part of it is. So anyway, I just I did like this one better than the first one. It was more actiony. There's a couple of little moments or little details or little things that I kind of liked better, that I appreciated in this movie that were there in the first movie, but I didn't really pay attention to. One of them was that just simply the laser blasts and how they're not just clean. Like in Star Wars, they're clean.
It's like plasma.
Yeah, it's like a plasma bolt. And so when it hits, it's almost like liquid. That's like...
Right.
And I really liked that detail. I thought that was really... I don't know, I really like that. I mean, it's a little thing, but...
Yeah.
I think that was really cool. Something else I really liked, and again, if you've listened to the show for a while, you know that I love steampunk. I love that aesthetic of things. I love it when you can make big mechanical things like manual. So I love the idea that this spaceship that can fly between the stars right,
Mm-hmm.
has this giant Earth-killing gun,
Right.
and they have to hand crank things
Yeah. Like
to
in an old tank.
like an old. Or I think the note that I wrote was, I do like that it's a World War II battleship firing its main gun.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
I thought that too. I figured you would say something about it.
yeah, I mean, as dumb as it is, it's one of my favorite moments in the movie
You know,
because,
well, go ahead.
well, it's because there's so much other in the movie that's weird, right? Like
Well,
his body
that's
is,
what I was getting ready to say. Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of weird in the movie, right? There's a lot of, like the main bad guy is killed in the first one, and then he gets dumped in some goo, and then he has a conversation with the main bad, the emperor, so to
Mhm.
speak, and then he comes back to life, and he's kind of unhinged, and then like the main core of the ship has a face on it, which is
Yeah,
weird.
so that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Like as steampunk as the canon is, you've got this main engine who's like uh, sucking in some sort of life force from I don't know from lava or something, and then it turns green and comes out the other side of her head and powers the rest of the ship.
yeah,
I, I don't understand that.
yeah. It was very strange because when I forgot her name, Kora, when she goes to put
Yeah,
the bombs on it, my wife says that's a face, and I said what? She says that's a face. And I'm like, no, it's not. And then toward the end, when the bombs are like getting ready to go off, and then the thing like opens its eyes or whatever, I'm like, oh my god, it is a face. And you're right,
that's a
like
man's
head.
head.
Don't think I ever would have expected a Wild Wild West reference in this movie, but again, steampunk with a lot of stuff that doesn't really make any sense. But but you're right. But like the movie, like she jumps down, and it literally is like dudes like shoveling coal or something,
Yeah,
isn't it? So it's like the movie can't make up its mind. Is this ship an interstellar thing, or are we on the Titanic in
right.
1912? I can't make I don't know where we are. It's very strange, but I did like that. Those two things I liked, and the sword fights with the the laser swords I thought are pretty cool, um and frankly I like that some of the heroes died, or at least one. Um,
Yeah.
it.
And there was no real resolution to that either. Like they didn't find him and bury his body, or right? Or did I miss that?
Well, there's something burning at the end of the movie, which is what they do at the end of Return of the Jedi. So I assume that that's what's happening, is that it's the bodies of the people that
Well,
died,
yeah,
and that they're burning them for whatever reason. Not sure why. But
Vikings.
I guess maybe a Viking thing, or I don't know. But I'm going to ask this question. I'm curious to see what you will have to say. There is a moment in the movie, and again, if you're listening to the show and you haven't watched this movie, I'm certainly not suggesting you watch it. But there's something that happens in this movie that 100% took me out of the movie. Can you guess what that moment was?
Hmm. I mean, for me, it was the face on the mothership.
It was
But
way
I don't know.
before that for me. Way before that.
What was it?
I'll give you a hint. It was during a flashback scene.
During a flashback.
So it's
I don't know.
it's her flashback. She's telling the story about the actual death of the emperor, and how her adopted father orchestrated the emperor's murder, and that the senators would rule and whatever. And
Was
off
it
in
the beards?
in the corner is a string quartet or quintet playing earth instruments. It
Oh yeah.
it's so
And it was the soundtrack that you're listening to as a part of the movie. That's what they're playing.
Yeah.
That was kind of weird.
As soon as I saw it, I thought, wait a minute, those are Earth instruments. Like,
Yeah.
In Star Wars, we go to the Cantina band, and they're playing weird looking instruments. I mean, sure, it's still music being played by instruments that we have on this planet, but it's weird looking instruments because it's in another galaxy. This is a different time.
If you think about it, though, I mean, when they're cutting the wheat in the field, I mean, you got the same tools that we would have to cut wheat here.
Which was also really dumb. We got space travel and robots that can do things, and yet we still have Digimon Hansu out there with a wheat thrasher cutting down to
right.
Like, again, this movie can't make up its mind. Is it the 1700s or are we in the future? Like, what is happening?
Right.
It's so weird. It's so very strange, and I don't know. As soon as I saw Earth violin and Earth cello, and there's a murder happening, and they're just playing like imagine that, right? Like the senator, because this guy is going to be the big grand guy, right? So he obviously has underlings that do things for him. So like, could you imagine going to like his head secretary, and being like, hey, we're going to do this assassination, and I want it to be really classy. So make sure you have an orchestra, but make sure they're loyal and unfazed by emperor assassination. Like, we want them on our side. Okay, I got the perfect group. Like.
Do you think that's why they were wearing masks?
Probably.
Maybe they couldn't see.
Well, maybe that's true. Maybe I don't know. I know I've been harping on it now for a couple minutes, but that scene was powerful, and it goes to her motivation that she followed her father's orders and killed the girl who she had sworn to protect. And
right.
But then he immediately turned on her to pin the entire assassination on her, that it was all, that was the plan the whole time. And of course she's a badass and is able to fight her way out. But so like the scene's powerful. Like I don't dislike the scene. I just don't like the string quintet. And like I don't need the Titanic string quartet, in my Star Wars movie.
Right.
It's just so weird. So if you want them there, give them like electric violin and cellos. At least make it look weird and futuristic.
Right. Or, I don't know, make them clear or something.
Yeah, just let's make it futuristic, but again, the movie, I don't know. It's just a weird little thing. There was a couple other notes that I wrote down. Is I didn't know this was interstellar, because at one point they're flying towards, it looked like a supermassive black hole that they have in Interstellar. It looked like the exact same digital recreation of a black hole, that supermassive black hole. And I thought, well, we're getting a lot of use out of that. Whoever designed that sure as heck, got some use out of that. Let's see. We had a really good prepare for war montage. Really, really good one.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost like watching, I don't know, any war movie, like World War II war movie or Vietnam war movie, where we're planning. You know what it kind of reminded me of was Robin Hood, the Kevin Costner Robin Hood. They're building these like things to hide under, and
yeah, I agree. It reminded me, that's a great example. It also reminded me of Saving Private Ryan, when they are preparing the little town that they're in for to defend against the Germans. It's like 15 American soldiers versus 100 something German soldiers, or whatever. Like, they gotta place the bomb here and put the stuff there and take the ammo there and move the machine gun here. It was a lot of that stuff, and I like a good montage. It's uplifting, and Hansu looks great for an older dude, and I just like him in all things. I think he's fantastic, and he's in a lot of things. I shouldn't say he should be in more things. He's in a lot of things. So
Yeah, he is.
It's not like, but yeah, I like him a lot, and he's been nominated for 2 Oscars. I didn't know that. He was nominated for 2 Oscars. For what? I'm curious now because he was nominated for Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role for Blood Diamond, and Best Actor in a Supporting Role in a movie called In America in 2004.
Yeah, I knew he was in Blood Diamond, but I didn't know about the other one.
Yeah, I don't know that either. A family of Irish immigrants adjust to life in the mean streets of Hell's Kitchen while also grieving the death of a child. Was Daredevil there? Maybe he could help. Sorry, it's Hell's Kitchen, I assumed.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned the swords,
Mm-hmm.
the laser swords.
Yeah.
I thought this was really well done, and I like how. I mean, in Star Wars, we have the original lightsaber, right?
We do.
And we love. I think everybody nerdy like myself loves how it comes out of the hilt and glows up. I'm okay with this though, how it's just a normal sword, but then it like electrifies or something. I don't know exactly what the physics is around it. But what threw me off was why it hurt her hand when she picked it up.
Yeah, it's
and
like
she had to wrap it.
Yeah, like the hilt was also electrically charged, and that
Yeah.
people that wield it have to wear special gloves, which is why she had to wrap it with, I guess, cloth. To protect her
And
hand.
I just assumed that's what it was, that they had to wear special gloves, but I don't know. I feel like there's a way to show that somehow. Maybe one of the soldiers getting ready and they put on a glove. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're having to take a lot of inference ourselves. We're having to, like in the movie Blade, the first one that we did for the show, right? His sword has a mechanism in it, so if you pick it up and you don't know how to deactivate it, it shoots out these spikes that cuts off your hand. And
Right.
like Donald Logue lost a hand in that movie because of it. But Stephen, whatever his name is, Stephen Frost or whatever his name is, the main bad guy, he knew about the thing. So like the movie shows us this thing has a booby trap. So I guess that's what that is. It's like it's a way to prevent just anybody from picking up a soldier's sword and using it against them. You have to have the special glove. But she didn't know that, which seemed weird. Like
Yeah,
I feel like
because she was
in the
in that.
guard. Yeah, she would have known
Right.
that. She would have known not to pick it up. I don't know. Just like you said, it's a weird thing. Just this movie has so many little weird things in it. It's hard to really figure out what they're trying to do at any given time, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I did say that her drop ship kind of looks like Serenity. I thought that was kind of
Yeah, it kind of does.
yeah. On the eve of battle, she's got time to cut her hair. That's a trope too. It's like, oh, I got to go into battle the way that I'm going to look like what I was when I was a soldier there.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like the idea of them sneaking onto the main ship. I liked that. Like that plot line of them sneaking onto the ship so they could blow it up. I thought that was pretty cool. I like that.
And that's right out of Star Wars as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And instead
sneaking on to deactivate the tractor beam or shields or whatever, they're just sneaking on to blow it up.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
I mean, I honestly was kind of hoping, and I know this is terrible because I didn't want there to be a third, but I was kind of hoping they wouldn't get off the ship, and that would be the end of the story. And then maybe the robot would pick up the end and just tell us what happened.
Yeah, maybe he just because we have the big bad has to get killed. We know that. Like he's gonna have to.
Yeah.
Now I will say this. So she and the bad guy, the main bad guy, the admiral, whatever, they're fighting on the ship. and they're having a really. And it's a pretty cool fight scene. The ship is tilting down as it's crashing towards the planet, and there's a lot going on, and he gets caught in like a door, and she shuts the door, and my
Yeah.
wife says, "Oh, cut off his head." And then when she cuts off his head, my wife literally cheered. She was like, "Yeah!" So
Yeah.
my wife was into it. It was pretty funny. I thought that was. I love that. My wife was into it. She was glad that guy got it.
Yeah, I don't know if it was because he was a jerk or because he wore a tie again.
Oh, was there a tie again? I didn't notice the tie.
Oh yeah, but it was black on black, so you couldn't tell.
That's annoying. It makes you almost wonder, like, is Earth not that far away?
Right. And that would make a lot of sense if they said, you know, our base on Earth, blah blah blah.
Two 2,000 years into the Earth's future, the Earth has left and formed the new central government. Make it like Serenity, right? Earth got used up, and so we went to a new solar system and found a bunch of planets, and then the inner core made whoever these bad guys are, and the outer rim, it was whatever. Like, give us that, it's fine. But this is a different galaxy entirely. But stop showing us Earth stuff. It's just
right.
It's
Yeah,
annoying.
either use Earth in your story or don't have Earth stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I've actually run pretty much all through my notes. I will say this other thing too that I thought was actually really good. So, we're getting all of the guys' backstories, and Jimon Hansu's his backstory, I thought was great, and I thought he was like probably the best actor in the movie. Where he's telling this story, and I felt like genuine sorrow for the guy.
Yeah.
And there's that moment at the end where he's finished telling the story. He's kind of got that lip quiver kind of a thing happening. Like, oh yeah, he's bringing the acting. I really appreciated that. So I liked that about this movie, which I just didn't feel like was in the first one. I don't know why, and maybe it was there, and I just was not in the mood to see it. But I noticed it this time. So. He's doing a good job. He's doing the best that he can with what he's got to do. Anything else before I play any clips?
Well, no, I mentioned the beards earlier, but they really bothered me. I don't know if they're real or not, but
Carrie Elwes with a giant beard.
Yeah, Carrie Elwes and whatever the other guy's name is, Frau
Blucher.
Yeah, however you say his name.
Yeah.
It's just they look fake. Even if they're real, they look fake.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I agree. Well, and I'm still having a hard time reconciling the fact of Carrie Elwes as the villain, as like an emperor. I mean, the last time, Carrie Elwes was the bad guy in Twister, but when he's in a Mel Brooks movie, in Robin Hood, he, most recently, he's in Psych as a sort of art thief. But like he just seems like such a likable, easygoing dude that when you cast him to be the emperor, like I guess he's evil. I'm not really sure, but as an emperor who gets usurped by an even bigger douche, who I don't know this actor at all, so it's fine. I don't know. There's something weird about Carrie Elwes as a bad in this movie. Just seems so weird.
Yeah. So if you're looking at pictures on IMDb,
as Andrew does,
excuse me, as I do, number 131 out of 157, we have, I guess it's the recreation of the Last Supper.
Oh my God.
I don't know why. I mean, maybe this was a suggestion by someone doing cast photos. Let's just recreate the Last Supper.
Okay,
But
so
it's also kind of weird.
on the website, when I click the little icon that makes it, so I don't have to scroll each individual one, I don't get a numbered. It's all on one page.
Huh.
They're not numbered. So I'm having to just kind of scroll and hope that I see what you're talking about.
It's like right before all the posters at the end.
Gotcha. I'll keep scrolling as we go here and see if I can't find it. Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes, they freaking did the Last Supper. That is so weird.
Right?
Oh my gosh, you guys. It's like Sophia is there as the Jesus character.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the 7 samurai that are with her, I guess the other 6, and then a couple of the farmers, like the girl.
Yeah.
That is so weird.
I don't. I mean, it's just like the movie. There's some things I don't understand.
All right. That's weird. That's really strange. Okay. I don't know. Here's some clips. There's not a whole lot because, again, this movie doesn't have any quips or any one-liners or anything like that. There's a lot of dialogue, but it's all like lengthy dialogue, and there's just a lot going on, and there's no weird sounds. And there was a couple of moments where I heard a couple of little Star Wars sound effects, but it's kind of forgivable because of what's going on. So, but they did mention the name of the movie.
When I deliver her to Belisarius and her body is displayed in the rotunda of the Senate, I shall bare my chest, and it will stand as a symbol that it is I who brought to justice the Scargiver, as it is I that stands before my people as a savior.
Yeah. It is interesting that her name is Scargiver, and then she does, in fact, give him a scar on his
Is
chest.
that her official name, or is that the name he gave her, though?
I think that's like, well, her official name is like Aletheus or Aletheus or whatever it is. I don't know. They mention it throughout the movie, but it's like it's her. Yeah, I don't know. It's not her nickname, but like Killmonger or
Right.
Ironmonger.
It's her alias.
It's her alias. Yeah, it's her her badass name.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here's this one.
We know what each of us must do. You're all here because I want you to know who the hell you're fighting with. Everyone must share the truth. I'll go first.
I just captured that because I like his acting. I thought he was doing a really good job. So, must share your truth. I like that.
Yeah.
Here's a little bit of a pep talk. Oh, this is her talking to the robot.
You and I are alike, designed to kill for them. Understand, their nightmare is you and I fighting together. Not because we're ordered or commanded, but to defend something we love.
Yeah. And then he says, okay, but I'm not going to help you.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go be weird deer antler robot guy and still not help you.
Yeah.
No idea. I did like this.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's when the pilot sees there's a bomb on this ship. I like that. I would have been better if it would have been oh shit. It would have been oh shit would have been better, but still.
Oh, damn.
Oh, damn. Yeah. I did like that. And I did like they have these shotguns and rifles and stuff that they have to like individually reload, like they're again Civil War era rifles that.
Yeah, I was, as you were playing the clips, I was just looking at some reviews of other people, and some of them say things like either this is a really dumb empire, or these are superhuman people from a village.
Yeah.
Because we have, like you said, people basically with pitchforks and BB guns taking on an empire with starships and lasers, and yeah, they're
Like,
just inept.
yeah, they all have, you know, submachine guns, and
At least in Star Wars, you have spaceships fighting spaceships.
yeah, they're kind of on equal ground technologically speaking.
Right.
They're just the
I mean,
numbers
the rebels
are
have
different.
less in Star Wars, and maybe not as good quality, but they have spaceships.
Well, but I mean, and I don't want to nerd out too much, but an X-wing is a better ship than a TIE fighter because the Empire doesn't value the life of a pilot the way the rebels do. So that like an X-wing has more armor, it has shields, and it has
Yeah.
warp drive. Whereas a TIE fighter does not have shields or warp drive or whatever it's called, a light speed.
Yeah.
Because their goal is to overwhelm you with numbers.
Yeah.
So, but you're right, to your point. Yeah, the Rebel Alliance, they're still using basically the same technology. But you're right. These guys are using. I mean, that one girl shoots basically. It's like a blunderbuss that blows. And it looked cool when she blows up the little straw scarecrow that they made. But
Yeah.
what you I thought was hilarious that we have time to make straw scarecrows. Like we couldn't just draw targets on paper or something. Oh, and she also had time to make tapestries for them. Again, cool scene. Really,
Right. And meaningful.
But all I could think of is the bad guys are coming, and you have time to sew some tapestries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last clip here. Excuse me.
But we have men on the ground.
Yes. A few less mouths to feed. Once we have the Scargiver, we'll return directly to the Motherworld. We won't need the grain, will we? Destroy it.
I just picked that clip because it just shows once again the trope of I'm so evil, I'm willing to sacrifice my own troops, my own men.
Right. So maybe I've misremembered from the first movie, but that clip made me think about, do they need the grain or not? I mean, is the grain just an excuse to get to Kora?
From what I understood, no, they didn't know she was there. From what I understood,
Exactly.
The purpose of the grain was that their ship was going to be in their region of space, patrolling for an extended period of time, fighting a long campaign against the actual rebels, and therefore they needed a way to feed the troopers on their battleship.
So is he basically saying now, I don't need to worry about feeding my troops anymore. We have her. Like,
yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah, I guess the idea
you still need that grain.
Yeah, they still need the grain, but his point is we're not going to stay out here. We're not going to stay out here and have a long campaign against these rebels. We're going to get her, and then we're going to go back to the mother world where they'll resupply us there. Yeah. And it won't matter and also there'll be fewer people to feed, which is such a cold way of doing business. But again, it's a bad guy in a movie where I don't know. I can't. I mean, like, even if you think back to, leaders in human history, the bad guys in our human existence, leaders, like yeah, Hitler was, the worst, but the generals and whatever fought that were like, they still cared for their men. right? Like they didn't just, oh, we're gonna have to sacrifice. It's okay to kill our own men because I don't know. It's a movie trope. I don't think it's real, personally, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's a movie trope, and it kind of annoys me because it's just there to say this guy is really bad.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's it. Time for this. Not that. I meant this.
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
I didn't ask you beforehand if we have a game.
We don't,
And
because again, this is much like the other.
yeah,
It's hard to do a game like this with space movies.
yeah. And in space movies where there's no English written around, there's not like any kind of interesting signs or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's a little, and frankly, there's, I will read you, and not you, Andrew, but you, the listener. I will read you all of the trivia on this movie. You ready?
Is the first one half of the movie is in slow motion?
Ed Skirrin, who plays the villain Atticus Noble, and Michelle Michael Michelle, who played hero Gunnar. I guess it's probably Michael. Both played the same character in Game of Thrones, Dario Naharis. Dario was recast from Ed to Michael. Okay.
Huh.
1, 2. Zack Snyder's third film to debut on Netflix after Army of the Dead and Rebel Moon Part 1. That's it. That's all the trivia.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is a fairly new movie.
It is, but what it tells me is that the people that worked on it didn't even care to put trivia on this thing. So, I don't know. As I was scrolling down IMDb, though, it did more like this: Rebel Moon 1, Damsel, Atlas, Roadhouse, the new Roadhouse. And I saw Atlas, and I'm kind of intrigued by that movie. Like
Is this the one with Jennifer Lopez?
Yeah, Jennifer Lopez in like a mech suit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's something that's kind of interesting about that. Sterling K. Brown is in it. Simu Liu, who the 10 Rings guy.
Yeah.
Ooh, Mark Strong. I like Mark Strong. He's a good bad guy in all things. I like that cast. I don't know. Well, maybe we'll do it for the show one day.
It is a decent looking cast. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's it. That's all I got. That's really all I got.
Oh, I've got too.
The film score is, again, fine. I think that's what we said last time. It served its purpose. It's not very memorable. There's no hero theme that I had stuck in my head once I walked out of the movie. I mean, it is no Battle Beyond the Stars. I'll tell you that.
Right.
When it comes to the score. And I don't know who did it. I think we've talked about it last time. But it's I'm scrolling down. Tom Holkenborg. Who has done things. He's done things that we know, such as Furiosa, King Kong versus Godzilla, The New Empire.
Mm-hmm. Which is a decent movie, by the way.
He did Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Army of the Dead, Godzilla vs. Kong, The Justice League. What? He did Zack Snyder's Justice League. Okay. I was confused. He did the first Sonic the Hedgehog, Terminator Dark Fate, Alita Battle Angel. So this guy's done some stuff, and he's done some stuff that I like. He also did Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. I don't know why. Oh, it's freaking Junkie XL. That's his real name.
Oh, okay.
Or not. His real name is Tom Holkenborg.
But what we know him as.
Yeah, also known as Junkie XL. Got it. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done a bunch of stuff. I just think that this is the most generic thing ever. Sorry, Junkie XL. Yeah. Time for this. Everyone! This is where we're going to give this movie a score from 0 to 10. And Andrew, why don't you go first?
Well, as you said earlier, it's a 5.2 on IMDb or 5.4, something like that. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to be right there with it. It is better than the first one. I'm gonna say a 5.5 out of 10.
Okay. I think that's fine because you gave the first one a 4.
Yeah.
So I think that's fine. I gave the first one a 4.1. I will give this a 5 also. I think a 5 is fine. You know, it's not great. It's not terrible. It's fine. It's probably not the worst of the Zack Snyder films that I've seen. But it's not my favorite either. So I don't know. If you want to watch it, do. If you don't, it's fine. But yeah, it's fine. Just, I don't know what to say. It's fine. It's not great. That's it. That's all I can say about it. But I will say this though. So thank you all for listening to our Star Wars adjacent series, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. And well, hopefully you enjoyed it more than we did, because I don't really think we enjoyed it that much. This was probably not my best lineup of films. But next month we're gonna do something completely different, and that is we're gonna do summer break movies. That's right. School is out for summer. The kids are out doing stuff at the pool, doing stuff, having fun. So we decided to do summer break movies, right? Movies that that have to do with school being out and doing stuff during the summer. And so our lineup for the month of June is as follows. Next week, we're going to do The Sandlot.
Such a good movie.
The Sandlot, I know. We pivot from there to Friday the 13th. I've never seen it.
Me either.
But, you know, it's a summer camp and there's murders going on. And I thought the movie this month can't be completely, you know, just fun and bubblegum. We need to have something a little.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After that, we go to the Disney film Heavyweights, which I remember from my youth. And my wife, when I pulled up the poster for it, she's like, "Is that Ben Stiller?" And I said, "Yeah." And she's like, "You don't like that guy." And I said, "No, but he's the bad guy in the movie, so I'm fine with that." You're not supposed to like him. And we're going to end the month with a Goofy movie, the classic Goofy movie. One of my favorite summer break movies. My wife actually was the one that came up with this category, and my first thought was a Goofy movie. That was my go-to on that. So, looking forward to doing it for the podcast, doing a full-on cartoon. It's going to be a lot of fun. So,
yeah.
Before we do all those, though, of course, you can go to our website, cheapseatreviews.libsyn.com. Go to youtube.com/cheapseatreviews. Leave us a review would be fantastic. And, you know, spread the word. We've been around for a long time, but it can still help us out a lot. If you could just, you know, if you like this show, share it to somebody that you like, and definitely share it to people that you don't like. So, yeah, there's just people at work, just spam them our you know, cheapseatreviews.libsyn.com. Just send it to them. At the bottom of every email you send at work, you should just put that there, just to see if they notice. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, you should do that. So, anyway, that's it. So, on behalf of Andrew, this is Sean saying thank you all so much for listening. We'll see you next week for The Sandlot.
This is Cheap Seat Reviews.
All right.